Hello and welcome to another Health Essentials podcast. I'm John Horton, your host. If you want to start working out more, a home gym may be the solution. Surveys show that folks with exercise equipment under their roof are more likely to break a sweat a few days a week. But what should be in your home gym to make it useful? Free weights? A treadmill? Giant rubber bands used for resistance training? And how much equipment do you really, truly need to get a good workout? We've asked exercise physiologist Chris Dempers to come and spot us for the heavy lift of putting together an ideal home gym. He's one of the many trusted experts at Cleveland Clinic who visit our weekly podcast to help us become healthier versions of ourselves. Now let's work out these exercise equipment questions so we can actually start working out. Chris, it's always great to have you on the podcast to talk exercise and fitness. I've got to be honest, I usually leave our chats ready to go and work out.
Hey, John, thanks for having me on today.
Before we start talking about exercise equipment, which is our big thing today, let's talk about exercise itself and specifically how few of us are doing it. A CDC report I read said that only about 1 in 4 people get the recommended amount of physical activity a week. That's not very good.
No, that's not good at all. I feel like there's a lot of factors in that in this day and age. Time restraints are one of them. Economic things, people may not be able to afford gym memberships and that kind of stuff. There is definitely a decline in exercise and a rise in a lot of health conditions like diabetes, heart disease, stroke. And these are all things that can be prevented with proper exercise.
Well, and we're going to take a step toward that today by creating the perfect home gym for people. So what's a good place to start if you're going to look at getting a home gym going?
One of the things you want to consider would be, where are you going to put it?
That's a good call. Yeah, you got to pick out the right spot.
You live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Do you have a house with a spare bedroom or a basement or a garage gym? So there's a lot of different factors to consider. And, I would go with on the side of what level of fitness are you at? So if we're talking about someone who's more of a novice, then let's start off with a smaller space, a smaller amount of equipment and work on building your way up from there. So you can do a lot with a little.
Okay. Well, and that's good news because I know a lot of people, you're cramped with space. You may have an efficiency apartment or just, like you said, you're in a 1-bedroom and you need to just fit it in where you can. It sounds like there are options in those cases.
Absolutely. And make sure the option of your space is also safe, that, you're not kicking coffee tables or jumping up into a ceiling fan or anything like that. So make sure it's still a nice, safe environment.
Yeah, the ceiling fan is a good tip because I've seen enough of those videos online where people did not take that into consideration.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So now we've gone through our place. We found the perfect spot without ceiling fans or other things in the way. How are we going to fill it?
You want to look at what are your fitness goals. So what type of exercise are you wanting to accomplish? And that will narrow your path of what type of equipment you need to do. Prime example, if you live in a 2nd floor studio apartment, buying 500 pounds of bumper plates and a bar, doing powerlifting in your living room, probably not a good idea.
Your neighbors wouldn't like it. That's for sure.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, it's what type of fitness are you wanting to accomplish? So once again, let's start off with the novice, the beginner. So if they're just looking at getting in better physical shape, the basics, let's drop a little bit of weight, let's increase a little bit of muscle mass. Just try to become a little bit overall healthier. So once you have that in place, we can start looking at all the fun toys.
All right. Well, let's talk fun toys here. So,
Yeah.
We're going to start picking things out. What are some basic items people should consider depending on what they're looking to do?
So some of the basic items would be small dumbbells, bands, yoga balls, medicine balls, kettlebells, jump ropes. So these are all you can tuck them away in a closet underneath the bed. Not going to take up a ton of space and very affordable items.
Now, when you start talking about the dumbbells and the kettlebells and things like that, like how much weight do you need? Or is this the sort of thing where if you're just looking to get a little home gym set up, you could kind of go less weight and you just look to do more with reps as opposed to, lifting
And
trucks?
at that point, starting with that novice person, building up that muscular endurance. So doing higher repetition exercises would require a less amount of weight. Average male, I would recommend anywhere from 5 pounds to about 20, 25 pound weights.
Okay.
And there's a lot you can do. Average female, I would say anywhere from the 3 pounders to about 15 pounds.
Well, those are some great tips, because I think everyone, you worry about that. You get there and they got that entire at the store, the huge selection of them, and you don't know what you really should have, what you need.
And you can utilize all those dumbbells for a total body exercise. So it's not just using them for your arms. You can hold them and do squats. You can do lunges. You can do weighted ab crunches with them. So they become very versatile. So that's where you'd want something a little bit on the lower weight and work your way up higher.
Now, if they're going to start looking at some bigger equipment, you have a little more space. Is this where you start looking at maybe treadmills or weight benches and things like that?
Yeah. So if you do have the space and you're looking at making that investment, the bigger the pieces of equipment come without a cost as well. So pretty much anything you see in a commercial gym, you can now buy at home. So a lot of these companies make home gym equipment. So you can get really sturdy squat racks. You're, top of the line. If you are a marathon runner and you live in an environment where it's cold, 8 months out of the year, where I used to live up in Canada, purchasing like a higher grade treadmill to run inside would be beneficial for you.
So it's something you really do need to tailor it to what you want to do, and then go and kind of pick that equipment out.
Exactly.
Now, since cost is always an issue, are there certain things that are just a kind of a low price tag sort of item that you should get, and you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck out of them?
Yeah, I'll do you one better. Free.
Free. Well, I love free.
Yeah. It's the body you're given. So
okay.
Body weight exercises. You can come up with a phenomenal routine just using your own body weight. So prime example, pause the podcast right now. Start off with 3 sets of push-ups, 10 repetitions, 3 sets of squats, 10 repetitions, 3 sets of sit-ups, 10 repetitions. Guarantee your heart rate's going to get up.
Wow. So it's that simple.
Yep. You're utilizing your own body weight. It's still going to develop strength, endurance, burning calories. So just using the body you've been given.
Now, do you need to go and look to buy the benches that you see with a lot of stuff? Or, can you just use what you have?
For the most part, you can use what you have. Depends on what you're looking at getting into. So if you do want more of that standard, you want to do some chest press, like with the dumbbells, I would recommend one of those benches. It's going to make it a little bit safer. Your foot ottoman might not be as sturdy as you think.
Are there other things that you should look at when purchasing equipment? Versatility, size, construction. What sort of things are kind of tops on your list?
A lot of places do sell home equipment. So you got your sporting goods stores, like the Play It Again Sports, Dick's Sporting Goods, even Walmart, Target, they'll have some equipment there. The nice thing about that is you actually get to visibly see it in person, kind of feel and touch it. You can kind of gauge the quality of the materials. Now, when you order online, you're relying on the reviews and hopefully you get a decent product. But do your research. There's a lot of good companies out there.
I got to say, you've really made it seem very simple as to what it would take to put together a home gym. It sounds like you don't need much.
You can do a lot with a little, just a combination of bands, some dumbbells, some kettlebells, and there are hundreds of different variations of exercises you can utilize with those.
What are a couple things that nobody thinks of getting that they might really need and use in a home gym setup?
So as we start exercising, recovery is also part of the process. So a lot of people forget about stretching. 2 things I would recommend would be one of the stretching straps, But you can also go on a cheaper route. You can use a belt or a towel to kind of aid with that. You can kind of wrap it around your ankle to help with hamstring stretching, and then also like a foam roller.
Okay.
Yeah. So you roll out those knots and those muscles using tennis balls, using lacrosse balls, get those stubborn knots on your back. A lot of little tools like that, but adding the stretching component in with the strengthening component, you're going to feel a lot better.
And is it probably better even to get should you invest in a mat? I know you see that a lot.
Yeah. So, once again, depends on the exercises you're doing, what type of flooring you're going to be on. Exercise mats are very important. So if you're going to be doing more of a yoga, the grippiness of that mat will help prevent you from sliding off. Also having a mat like with the dumbbells, placing them back down on the mat. I know if I were to do it on my hardwood floor at home, my wife would kill me. So having a mat down would be nice.
Well, I gotta say, I'm a pretty sweaty guy, so I think my wife would want me to have something down just so I'm not dripping on the carpet or anything like that too. In a lot of gyms, I know you see mirrors. Is there a value in getting that so you can kind of watch yourself work out and really look at your form and how you're doing it?
Yeah. So, you get a lot of the misconception on why do they have mirrors in there? Is it this ego thing? Everybody's just staring at themselves.
It's not just people checking themselves out, right? Not vanity.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. They typically have their phones out taking selfies, but it is to watch your form. So form is really important through the exercise process. Improper form is going to lead to a higher risk of injury. Even starting off with a just standard tall mirror, do your workouts in front of that, watch your technique, watch your form. So there's nice thing too is there's a lot of YouTube videos out there on different exercise programs. So try to mimic what the instructor is doing.
So you're talking home gym. You had mentioned gym memberships earlier. What are kind of the pros and cons of a home gym versus the membership?
I would say convenience factor. So nowadays, a lot more people are commuting to work. So how much time are you willing to designate to working out? So if you're going to go work out for the recommended 30 to 40 minutes and you got a 15, 20-minute commute there and back, so you're looking at a 2-hour window now you need designated for the gym. And I don't know about you. I barely have 20 minutes to eat my food at lunch. Yeah. So having a 2-hour window set aside in the day for that gets a little hard for people. And then also the cost of gym memberships, and then you have to be going all the time. Maybe your schedule is so inconsistent that by the time you're done work, the gym's closed.
Well, and it sounds like even if you have it available there, even if you don't have a huge block of time, if you just go in, if you can get a 10, 15-minute workout in, there's value in doing that.
Oh, absolutely. It's some movement's better than no movement. But if you have the home gym, then you can set aside time whenever you want.
So, Chris, ahead of this podcast, we asked folks on Cleveland Clinic's various social media channels if they had home gym questions. And what do you know? They did. So if you're ready, let's tackle a few of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now, one of our listeners wants to know if they can just forget any sort of equipment and just create an area where they can focus on body weight exercises, which I think you already said was a good idea, but is there a special tip they should know about doing that?
No, absolutely. I mean, body weight exercises are a great way to start, very cost effective. Now, as you get accustomed to it, things get easier. You want to challenge yourself a little bit more. What I would recommend the next step up would be a suspension trainer. So you're still utilizing your body weight, but now you're at different angles. So it does cause, a little bit more tension on the muscle.
So if you could really briefly describe what suspension training is?
Yeah. So suspension training is, I guess, the easiest way to describe it. What most people have seen, like the Olympic rings.
Okay.
So a system is kind of like that. One of the most popular ones is called the TRX. So they have two handles. They're typically going to be attached to a door, or, you can wrap it around a pull-up bar. You want it something sturdy that's not going to give way as you're, leaning against it with your body weight. So they do have little attachments for that.
Now, if you are going to go the body weight route and not do the equipment, is it still important to set a dedicated area up just so that way you kind of have a zone that you go to where it's like, now it's workout time?
Absolutely. Routine is really essential to getting in the habit of exercise. So trying to designate a specific time, every day or every other day, whatever your routine is going to be, and have that area is going to get you in that habit. And it's more likely that you're going to stick with that habit going forward.
Another question that got thrown our way involved walking pads. There was cool little things that you're starting to see in team online meetings and things like that. They wanted to know if they are worth buying.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are. It gives you that option, during moments where you normally would be sedentary. Now you're at least burning some calories. It's not going to replace, I would say, running outside, but during a time where you're not normally burning calories, and then now you are, will aid in weight reduction.
And this last question involves somebody who's looking at their wallet, and they want to know if they can look to health insurance to cover the cost of exercise equipment.
Oh, good old health insurance.
Yeah,
right?
Everyone, you want it to cover everything, but so can you get help here?
Short answer, not really.
Okay, probably not.
Probably not. There are instances if there is a script. So if they're going through physical therapy, occupational therapy, kind of home health stuff, there may be a possibility to have some of that equipment written off. But what some of the insurance providers are doing, they are offering under certain plans are gym memberships. So essentially they will reimburse the fitness center for your attendance at the gym.
Okay. Well, that's something, I guess.
Yep.
So you take what you can get.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Chris, you've given us a ton of information. And I feel like we've done some seriously heavy lifting today when it comes to putting together a home gym. So before we part ways, do you have anything else to add about setting up a home workout space?
Yeah, I think everybody can do it. Even those who do attend a fitness center on a regular basis, there's days where you might be a little too busy and you can still do something at home. So there is no reason not to exercise. You can always designate a small space to get some sort of exercise in that day. The big thing is just keep moving. The more we move, the healthier you're going to become.
All right. Well, I feel like I'm ready now to go dust off the weights that I have right over there as soon as we're done here. But I appreciate you coming on and inspiring us all to get a little healthier.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I appreciate these opportunities to come on here.
With all the fitness equipment options out there, putting together a home gym can seem overwhelming. Narrow down your choices by focusing on what you want to do in your exercise space, then fill in the gaps with some basic items that fit into most workout plans. Once that's done, get ready to get sweaty. If you liked what you heard today, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment to share your thoughts. Till next time, be well.